Everyone, this is Ravindra Babu. Welcome back to my channel Silver 90s Biounit. In this part of videos of molecular basis of inheritance, today we are going to talk about the mechanism of transcription in prokaryotes. Before we go to start our today's topic, here a small request from my side. Kindly watch all my videos made on this molecular basis of inheritance from the beginning so that you can understand the concepts clearly and completely. And one more request is kindly like and share the videos and subscribe the channel. Let's begin our today's topic, that is mechanism of transcription in prokaryotes. This mechanism of transcription in prokaryotes is carried out by an enzyme called RNA polymerase. RNA polymerase. This RNA polymerase is otherwise called DNA dependent RNA polymerase. DNA dependent RNA polymerase, or there is another name, that is transcriptase, as it involves in the process of transcription. The DNA dependent RNA polymerase is the name because it uses the DNA strand as a template for the synthesis of a RNA molecule. In this prokaryotic transcription, a single RNA polymerase involves in the synthesis of all the three types of RNA molecule. Nothing but this RNA polymerase can synthesize mRNA through transcription, rRNA and tRNA also. But in the case of eukaryotes, there is a specific type of RNA polymerase for the synthesis of each and every type of RNA molecule. Keep this in mind. And let us come to the mechanism of transcription in these prokaryotes, which includes three steps. Those are, one is initiation, and the second one is elongation, and the third step of the transcription is termination. Let us discuss one by one in detail about this transcription in prokaryotes. First, let us start with initiation. Say this is the double-stranded DNA molecule acting as a transcriptional unit, nothing but which is going to involve in transcription. This is the template of 3' to 5' polarity, and this is the strand of 5' to 3' polarity. We know very well this strand of 3' to 5' polarity acts as a template for the synthesis of RNA molecule during this transcription process. A transcription unit, it consists of a promoter region. You know very well that the promoter is a region on transcriptional unit whereon the process of transcription gets initiated. So during this initiation process, the RNA polymerase enzyme, it gets binds to this promoter region by associating with the sigma factor. You know very well that the sigma factor or sigma subunit, it gets associated with the RNA polymerase core enzyme transiently, which involves in the recognition of promoter region of a transcriptional unit. RNA polymerase, whenever it associates with the sigma factor, then only it can recognize, it can bind to the promoter region, unless it cannot bind to the promoter region. That is the first event in the initiation process. And the second event of initiation process is this RNA polymerase cleaves the hydrogen bonds in this promoter region so that it forms a open promoter complex. What is this? This is a open promoter complex formed by the activity of RNA polymerase, which cleave the hydrogen bond, so that formation of single strands with unpaired nucleotides. To that what we call open promoter complex. And the third event of this initiation process is the synthesis of or polymerization of ribonucleotide monophosphates of about 7 to 8. During the initiation process, RNA polymerase just polymerizes a 7 to 8 ribonucleotide monophosphates and forms a short segment of RNA transcript. And after the formation of this short stretch of RNA transcripts measures about 7 to 8 nucleotides, the sigma factor gets separated from this RNA polymerase core enzyme. This is what about the initiation process of transcription. What is happening here? The first event is a binding of RNA polymerase with the help of a sigma factor to the promoter region, and the next event is the cleavage of hydrogen bonds in the promoter region, so that formation of open promoter complex. And the third event is the synthesis of a short stretch of RNA transcripts of about 7 to 8 nucleotides by the activity of this RNA polymerase. And the fourth event of initiation is the separation of a sigma factor from the RNA polymerase core enzyme. And let us come to the second event of transcription, that is elongation. During elongation, the RNA polymerase core enzyme alone involves in the elongation process, during which this RNA polymerase core enzyme polymerizes ribonucleotide monophosphates in 5' to 3' direction, so that the synthesis of a RNA transcript on the template of 3' to 5' polarity, thereby the movement of a transcription bubble from 5' end to the 3' end of the transcriptional unit. Here we have to consider this open promoter complex as a transcription bubble during the process of elongation. This is what? A transcription bubble. This is called open promoter complex during the initiation process. The process of transcription in prokaryotes, it doesn't require any transcriptional factors like that of the eukaryotic transcription, whereas the eukaryotic transcription requires many additional transcription factors for the elongation process. And unlike the DNA polymerase, what is the function of DNA polymerase? The DNA polymerase involves in replication of DNA. Here, unlike this DNA polymerase, the RNA polymerase shows helicase activity along with the polymerization activity. The DNA polymerase consists only polymerization activity for the unwinding of DNA during replication. The replication process requires a special type of enzymes called helicases. But in the case of transcription, the RNA polymerase itself having the helicase activity. It unwinds the DNA molecule in 5' to 3' direction like this for the polymerization process. Therefore, the process of transcription, it doesn't require helicases and topoisomerases. You know very well the function about this helicases and topoisomerases. Helicases unwinds the DNA molecule. Topoisomerases relieves the tension, stress created on the DNA molecule in front of helicases. Because DNA polymerase themselves are unwinding the DNA molecule for polymerization in one direction. On the other direction, the DNA strands whichever unwinded for polymerization, they again rewind with each other according to the principle of complementarity. So that the transcription process, it doesn't require any helicases and topoisomerases. Here also RNTPs means ribonucleoside triphosphates acts as a substrates and the source of energy. So these RNTPs, they give RNMPs, nothing but ribonucleotides or ribonucleoside monophosphates, by releasing the high energy rich inorganic phosphates. These RNMPs gets polymerized during the process of polymerization, and this high energy rich phosphate groups used as the energy source for the polymerization process. So this is about the second step of transcription, that is elongation, where RNA polymerase core enzyme alone involves in elongation, where it polymerizes the ribonucleoside monophosphates in 5' to 3' direction for the synthesis of a RNA transcript in 5' to 3' direction on the template of 3' to 5' polarity by moving the transcription bubble in 5' to 3' direction of a replication unit. And the third event is termination. What happens in this termination? So this is the region of termination on this transcriptional unit. The RNA polymerase on its way, whenever come across this region of termination, automatically the Rho proteins or the chain terminating proteins or Rho factors gets binds to this RNA polymerase transiently and involves in the termination of the transcriptional process, which finally results into the fall of the RNA transcript whichever formed during this elongation process, and polymerase from this double helix of DNA. Polymerases and Rho proteins also gets separated after the end of this the termination process. Thereby what happens? The synthesis of a nascent mRNA or RNA transcript will form after this transcription, which is complementary to the template of 3' to 5' polarity of the transcriptional unit. In the case of prokaryotic transcription, the prokaryotes, you know very well, it doesn't consist any nucleus. The nucleoid or DNA is directly present nakedly in the cytoplasm, so that the process of transcription and translation occurs in the same compartment in the case of prokaryotes. The transcription and translation both occurs in a same compartment or cytoplasm. So that so many times the process of translation, which begins much before this fully mRNA transcribed, still the transcription process is going on and transcription process not yet completed, but meanwhile the translation process gets initiated on this transcribing mRNA molecule. Nothing but the process of transcription and the translation are coupled in the case of a prokaryotic transcription, because there is no compartmentalization. But if you come to the eukaryotic transcription, where you can find a distinct nucleus, so that the transcription process occurs in the nucleus, whereas the translation process occurs in the cytoplasm, there is a clear-cut compartmentalization. And the last point is the post-transcriptional modification we cannot find in this prokaryotic transcription, because the RNA molecule, the RNA transcript, whichever formed immediately after the termination process, is devoid of introns. With this, the process of transcription in prokaryotes is over. This is all for today's topic. In the next topic, we are going to discuss the differences between the transcription of prokaryotes and eukaryotes and post-transcriptional modifications in detail which occurs in eukaryotic transcription. Thanks for watching this video. Like and share the videos. Subscribe the channel. Vidya Amrutam Ashnute.